Alright, so now I'm going to attempt to do a tarot card reading on Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. And possibly throw Ryan Reynolds in there as well, just to get a feel of what they've got going on. Like I said in my previous video, it's been a while since I did a tarot video. I still play with my cards, but I haven't done any videos in like a year or two, and I would like to start doing that again. So I wanted to start with this Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively fiasco we've got going on, since it's been pretty interesting. All right, so, and as I said also, for the Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds one I did, I'm using my Game of Thrones tarot cards, of course, because Blake Lively says she is the Khaleesi, and Ryan and Taylor are her dragons. So I had to blow them out for that one. Normally I use my Modern Witch Tarot deck, but not today, Miss Blake. All right, so what's going on with the relationship between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni? What is going on with the relationship between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni? What's been going on there? What has been going on with the relationship between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni and all this mess that we've got going on with them? And please excuse my camera angle. As I said in the previous video, I don't have the same setup as I did before. What's going on with Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's relationship? To deal with this, it ends with us movie and everything going on around. Got the star, the 6 of coins, the 4 of coins, the 3 of cups. And we have the Judgment. On the back of the deck, we've got our boy Littlefinger. I never really liked him too much, but it's a lot of coins, which are pentacles. If you see a spear, that would be wands, but there's no passion here. There's definitely money involved, some judgment. We even got cups. Like when I did her and Ryan relationship, like Ryan was the only one who pulled a cup, and then Blake on the back of her deck. So it's very interesting, the dynamic. All right, so the first card I got is the Star in reverse. And when it comes to the Star in reverse, for reverse, it kind of means that you're following a path, but in private, instead of shining a light, like the star is, as it is, the star. And for the Game of Thrones ones, you've got Sansa in the window putting that candle there to let Brienne know to come get her. And in reverse, it's like the light is out. Like you're dealing with this situation on your own. And for Blake and Justin, I feel like that's kind of giving, they were originally dealing with whatever is going on in private. When it came down to the movie, everything, they were dealing with it in private by themselves together. Is definitely what it's giving. When it comes to your job, when you think about like people working together, I can feel like your light is being hidden. So maybe Blake was trying to outshine Justin, or somebody who doesn't realize their true potential. But I think it's more Blake trying to outshine Justin as a director from what we've seen. Disenchanted, or you're lacking inspiration. Like it's also giving maybe Blake wasn't as inspired to do this movie as Justin was. Now, if you think about the card for love in a relationship, we'll just throw that out there. You may have unrealistic expectations. You're searching for perfection, which obviously you can't get, you know. And it could also indicate that you're not seeing your partner or your relationship clearly, which I could also see if we're thinking about maybe Blake having a thing for Justin, that she was unrealistically thinking. All right, so the second card, we got the 6 of coins, which is a financial card, and it is in the upright position, and that can mean good times or like ahead. Sharing is also something like sharing your finances, sharing your wealth. It can also mean that you'll profit from like combining your talent and your resources for the greater good, which is giving how this started off, because Justin Baldoni had very good reason for wanting to do it. And I feel like Blake kind of faked it, kind of didn't. Like, you know, I feel like both of them kind of had good intentions. We're trying to share the weight of this project, work together. This is the, you know, the win-win card. It's a win for everybody. Combining your abilities with someone else, possibly combining your resources with others, and there's a promise for success in that. There's a success that you can gain from working with somebody else when that card comes up, which is what they were gonna get. I could see them getting that from this movie. When it comes to a relationship, it's more sharing financial resources with a partner, and like both of them are benefiting from it. And it encourages you to open up to your partner. And I feel like both of them were gonna benefit from this. Like, both of them were gonna benefit from this. And Blake and Ryan kind of messed that up. Then when we get to the middle, we have the Four of Coins, which again, a lot of financial cards coming up in this reading. Somebody who is kind of tight with their money. They're not letting go of the coin. They might be a little possessive, take pride in their wealth, you know. Financial security is important to them. When it comes to working, it means your job is secure and it provides like a good income and finances and wealth, power, status. But you may not feel inspired or challenged enough or content in your position, which is giving Blake Lively. It's probably giving both of them, because Blake was trying to be the director. She wanted more out of this movie than Justin really wanted to give her. And I feel like her and Ryan do take money very seriously. The way she was talking about, oh, my person can wear $5,000 shoes, or like the character, she's got money for it, even though in the books, this is a 23-year-old woman straight out of college trying to start her first business. So Blake definitely cares about money. She was raised with money. I feel like with Justin, this was financial security for him and his family. You know, I feel like they both thought this was going to be a pretty big movie that they just had sitting in their pockets, until people started to want more money, more power, more status with this movie. All right, then next we have our Three of Cups. And with the Three of Cups, this is an interesting one to come up, because it's giving working together for sure. Enjoying times with other people, enjoying working with other people, feeling inspired, feeling creative, like-minded people. Which makes sense because they're all actors. I feel like him and Blake were probably cool before whatever transpired that changed. They were willing to work together, and it just didn't pan out. Like, they did work together. He got over it, she seemed to get over it, and they finished their movie. And, you know, cheers, we're all excited, we're happy. When it comes to work, I guess you get good fortune from like working in a group. You may feel kind of fulfilled from the results, and maybe you feel like celebrating your success, which, even though Blake took the movie from Justin, as you could tell, he was still happy to go to the premiere, speak positively about it, have fun with his friends and family. Blake did the same thing. Everybody at the end of this movie, before the drama came out, seemed to be fine. They were just dealing with it and celebrating separately but together, because they all put in work on this project. And then you get to the judgment of it all. Now, with this judgment card coming up, Justin didn't want to do this, and Blake didn't either. I feel like they were content with how it was going until Blake started getting that bad media. And then she had to figure out what to do, because none of this came out until after she started getting all this bad media. And with that Judgment card, you're gaining self-awareness. This is the wake-up card. Self-awareness, judging your actions and choices in life situations. It can also mean it's like time to clean up. Being self-aware, maturing, clarity. I feel like this card is giving, like I said, by the end of this, they're both becoming very self-aware of the type of people that they are and whether they want to or not. Judgment is here for both of them. For Justin, because people say things about Justin, like weird behavior he has. Not that he assaults anybody, but just weird behavior that makes people feel uncomfortable. And then Blake, rudeness, straight up rude. Like, it's ridiculous how rude she seeks to be to certain people. And when you think about this card, when it comes to working with someone, it can mean like you may want to take a different path in life, or you're thinking about taking a different path in life. Maybe one that is more closely aligned with whatever talents that you have. Again, being self-aware, like this is not for me. And that could also be showing something right there that maybe directing is not for Blake or Justin. Self-awareness for both of them. Then for the back of the card, we have the King of Coins, which I'm going to set that off to the side right there. And with the King of Coins, we got a little finger on there, of course. Finance, career, you know, someone who's the pillar of the community, maybe a business leader, somebody with wealth and substance. It's giving both of them wanting to do this for probably DV victims. Blake is a part of the Me Too movement, and Justin considers him to be a feminist. Both of them were coming into this with probably good intentions. They both probably had good intentions, and then all of a sudden, somewhere in the middle, people started to get stingy, and people started to want to go about things a different way, and still attempted to work together and finish off this project, maybe because they had to, you know, but they did it anyway. And now with all this stuff coming out, the judgment is here for both Blake and Justin, and even Ryan. Okay, so now I want to do the same deck. How does Blake feel about Justin Baldoni? How does Blake feel about Justin Baldoni? How does Blake Lively feel about Justin Baldoni? It's crazy my flash came on. How does Blake Lively feel about Justin Baldoni? How does Blake Lively feel about Justin Baldoni in general and with this whole situation attached? How does Blake Lively feel about Justin? How does Blake Lively feel about Justin Baldoni? Okay, let me move these up a little bit since that's their general relationship. Move you up a little further too. Okay, this is Blake. Okay, so we got the Ace of Swords, the Four of Spears, the Ten of Cups, Page of Swords, and we got Jon Snow popping up. The Knight of Cups. And for the back of the deck, we have the Three of Swords, which, that sucks. It is a little depressing. Okay, so we'll put that up there. I'm gonna go ahead and deal out how Justin Baldoni feels about Blake Lively. How does Justin Baldoni feel about Blake Lively in general and during the course of this situation? How does Justin Baldoni feel about Blake? How does Justin Baldoni feel about Blake Lively during and after this situation? How does Justin Baldoni feel about Blake Lively? Okay, we got the Eight of Swords, the Knight of Cups in reverse, the Page of Coins, the Ace of Coins, and the Page of Cups. So that's interesting. Okay, and then the back of the deck, we have the other Danny card, the Two of Spears. Yep, oh, there she is right there. Alrighty. Okay, so for Blake, we're gonna move Justin out the way a little bit there. For Blake, we have the Ace of Swords come up first, and it is in the upright position. That can indicate that you feel kind of like a mental or spiritual growth. You're using your intellect, your focus, and devoting yourself to goals, which makes sense when it comes down to this, because I feel like from my previous reading, Blake was feeling kind of stagnant and like she wasn't really doing anything, which she wasn't. I hadn't seen her anything. So it makes sense that she was feeling like this is something that I can do, because Ryan's been doing Deadpool for years. So I can see that. It's more like a breakthrough, feeling inspired. And I think that's why she wanted to direct, because this was inspiring her. When it comes to work, maybe like starting a new job, maybe getting involved in the community, opportunities to use your intellect, and, you know, maybe even spiritual work, clarity, focus, those type of things when it comes to working, which again makes sense. I feel like Blake felt like this was an opportunity for her to show, hey, maybe I can't switch up my personality when I'm acting, but I can do a damn good job as a director. Then next up we have the Four of Spears, which is the Four of Wands. And also Swords is a mental card. Wands is a fire card, passion. And in reverse, that can still be kind of positive. You may be celebrating good fortune, but it may not be what you thought it was. Some kind of success that's more on the modest side, but you're still kind of content. You still feel accomplished. You're feeling good about yourself. It can also indicate that you secured a position that you really wanted at work, if you're thinking about a job. And it probably would be like a creative job, because that is also like a passion for creating something. So a creative job, satisfied and solidified in what you're doing, which again, coming up with that Six of Coins makes sense. Like they both had good intentions and to work together, community. I could definitely see that coming from Blake's side of it. If you're thinking about a relationship, it would be resolving problems more so, and making a relationship like a more pleasant relationship. Or celebrations are delayed also in a relationship. I feel like it's definitely giving her and Justin and how she might have been feeling about him, that, you know, hey, I have to share this with him, but I feel like I'm doing a good job. You know, I feel like I'm getting to put my creativity to work in this film, even though she had to share it with somebody, you know. So it's definitely giving Blake was kind of feeling like they were both, including Blake, in the beginning of this, feeling very happy about what they were doing, or at least somewhat satisfied, is what it's showing, at least from Blake's perspective. Right, then we got that Ten of Cups in reverse in the middle, around the time things start to get a little shaky. And that can mean there's disharmony, which is interesting. Again, they're getting more cups than her and her own husband was, which is crazy. But disharmony, disappointment, things aren't turning out the way you wanted them to. It's a family card, of course, but again, she probably thought this was going to be her big opportunity, and now Justin has gotten in the way of that, and everything is, like I said, disharmony. Like, people are fighting over wanting to be bigger and better, and it's messing everything up. That little happy family that they had going on this set, it got ruined right in the middle. Now, when it comes to work, you may not feel as secure. Could be problems within a company. You may feel your position is threatened, type of situation. Company might be growing too fast, and maybe she felt like this was her opportunity, and now that opportunity has been threatened. You know, she's passionate, and I think she was willing to work with him, and then somewhere along the lines, when I think her and Justin both started to have disagreements about how it's getting directed, how it's getting cut, and that 10 of Cups came up for her, and she was not satisfied whatsoever. Relationship for that. I mean, you and your partner may not share the same values, have different ideas of family life. You may not always get along, things like that, which, again, they do seem to have different ideas of family life and relationships. Like I said, every time they discussed their marriages, it was always like, seemed to be polar opposite of each other. Swords in reverse with that 3 of Cups for Blake Lively, that Page of Swords. And it's a lack of clarity or lack of direction in life. I feel like maybe at that point she wasn't, like, if you think about it, like when they were done with this movie and ready to celebrate, that's when Blake started to think twice and kind of not have clarity, not know what direction she wanted to go in with this. Maybe she didn't know if she was going to put out all this stuff on Justin until us as the media and as the internet started looking into her personality for real. And she probably didn't know where to go with that, you know. It can also mean someone that's like inexperienced, someone who has limited life experiences, which is, again, Blake, because Blake even said that, like, when those kids were at daycare and stuff, she was at her parents' like acting class. I feel like maybe being around Justin and these people made her feel less experienced. Like, a lot of people do not like to feel like that, and that also might have had something to do with her putting out all this information on him to try to take over this movie completely, because she wanted to feel bigger and better. You know, it was all good, but my alarm again. But yeah, she just might not have, like, it's not good enough for me. When it comes to a job, it can mean confusion in a career path. Promises you had just didn't happen. You know, you might have had dreams or materialized something you thought, or manifested something you thought was going to happen and it didn't. And it's also be careful. It's also a warning to, like, be careful with who you share your information with. Like, who you're working with, who you collab with. They may not be trustworthy type of. The Page of Swords in reverse. It does tell you to not trust certain colleagues and coworkers that may not be trustworthy. And I feel like Blake messes up in that a lot. Running her mouth, like, ooh, especially with it coming up with the celebration card. Like, at that celebration, Blake had the nerve to bring up that Ryan Reynolds wrote the rooftop scene. And when that was happening, it would have been during the strikes. He's not supposed to do that. And then in the text message from Baldoni, Blake said she wrote the rooftop scene. And that's when she pulled out her dragons on him and had Taylor Swift. Like, she's trusting the media too much. She's trusting us as the audience, I feel like, to be stupid. Like, she was trusting the media way too much in that situation. And she should have probably kept it close to the chest, because now that footage is out there and you can't take it back anymore. And now you're in the middle of a lawsuit. Okay. I don't know why it does that. Like, flash on and off. Alright, so I got a little messed up because I had to take my phone off as well. But then we have the King of Cups in reverse. And the King of Cups in reverse is kind of like emotional turmoil, excuse me. Like insecurity, defensiveness, someone who is feeling, like I said, very emotional and defensive. If you're thinking about an actual person when you have the King of Cups in reverse, that's somebody who is manipulative and emotionally controlling, possibly even vindictive, which is all Blake Lively right now. She's getting judged. This is crazy. She's getting judged, and it's making her insecure, defensive, vindictive, manipulating. I mean, it's crazy. it's a card that shows like you're dissatisfied, you're frustrated, you know, and that I feel like would be definitely Blake Lively in this moment of judgment right now. Like, I'm sure she's at home like, oh my God, the media. Like, and probably even behind the scenes, maybe even with her and Ryan. I did their reading earlier. Somebody was getting into an argument. Now, when you think about it, when it comes to work or a job, it may be a job where you kind of feel territorial power struggle. Kind of you fear losing out, losing control, you know. Again, manipulation might exist in that workplace. Again, all Blake. It's definitely giving Blake. It's so crazy. I can't wait to do Justin's. I'm trying not to look at it and get myself confused trying to read it right now. But I wanted to get the cards just all spread out because I want to do Ryan on top of them with my other deck. If you think about love when it comes to the King of Cups in reverse, that could mean like fear of expressing love, caring, or fear of expressing love and caring, like jealousy, again, defensiveness, emotional outburst type of situation, and feeling insecure in a partnership. And I feel like right now, probably Blake is feeling probably insecure in her own relationship. And then when she was with Justin, she probably was feeling insecure in that relationship and job. This is like a territorial power struggle. And now that she's getting judged, I think she's really trying to, because there is a part 2 to that book, and both of the characters are in the book. So I feel like she's probably to the point where she's like, well, because Blake Lively's the leading lady. The story is kind of about her. So I feel like she's like, I deserve to make this part 2 movie. You know, and we don't even have to have you in it. I mean, he's in the books. I don't know how they're going to do that, but it's like a power struggle. Now that she's being judged, it's got her feeling emotional. She's jealous probably because Justin is being looked at very highly right now, and she's not. Then, for the back of the deck, we got the 3 of Swords for Blake Lively. And when that pops up, for her overall, you feel isolated, you tend to feel cut off. It's a depressant, it's like a depression card, grieving card. Kind of feel just cut off from things that mean a lot to you, which could be this career that she has, might be kind of going down the drain right now. Family life, I'm sure her and Ryan are not doing well from this. I can't believe it. I can't imagine they would be. You're gonna need to let it go card though. Your hurt, your heartache, which she got that when it came to her and Ryan Reynolds relationship. It was a different card of depression and letting go. On the back of her deck, it was the 5 of Cups. Both of the back of her decks have been sorrow and depressing cards, letting you know that even though you're going through this, you're gonna have to let go and get over it. And it was very interesting that that's come up for her twice with 2 different people. Then when it comes to working, it could mean losing a job you loved, feeling isolated again and unhappy in a job. Maybe you regret unwise decisions. I think I'm gonna have to cut my alarm off because it keeps going on. The 3 of Swords, which makes sense. And making an unwise business decision. I think this whole situation with her and Justin was definitely a freaking unwise business decision. Either she should have never did the goddamn movie, or she should have just let this man direct his movie, went about her business, and then her and Ryan could have bought the rights to any. I mean, there are so many good books out there that if you wanted something that's already written, already a good story, there are so many out there, and they would definitely be willing to get Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively involved. But they wanted to take from Justin someone who had already laid out the format. Like, Blake didn't find the sets, Blake didn't get the production company. There's a lot that goes into making a movie, and Blake did none of that. So I feel like she was trying to take something that wasn't hers. All right, now we've made it to the 8 of Swords. Up here for my boy, Justin Baldoni. Let's go ahead and get just And get Blake out the way. A little bit there. It's not always about you, Blake. I can't believe this. I can't believe the situation that's going on with them two. I never thought in a million years Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively would be in this much hot war. Okay, so with the Eight of Swords upright for Justin Baldoni, this card is more like a self-undoing card. You're your worst enemy card, which is very good for Justin. It definitely makes sense for Justin because for him as a person, a lot of the little tidbits, like I said, that look negative on him was just him being a very awkward person. And he doesn't know how to, him and Blake do have that in common where they just kind of say stuff and it's weird and awkward sometimes, both of them. And that is his undoing in this situation. If he wasn't so weird and awkward, I feel like about certain situations, Blake wouldn't have much ammunition on him. You know, this is a you trapped yourself card. Even though when it comes to Game of Thrones, Brienne didn't really trap herself, but again, it's kind of like that. You've become your worst enemy, and there it might also be that you may have needed to do something that you were unwilling to act on. So now you're stuck in this position, which again, like maybe he should have just said, you know what, we'll pay for it. Let's get Blake out of this movie as soon as possible. Like there's something that he should have done in the beginning of this that he did not do because it was a passion project and he thought it was going to be all good because Blake was coming in with all her, oh yeah, all, so he just kind of, he probably knew, this is giving me, he knew that something was going to go awry, which is probably why he hired the PR team and he just didn't stop it before it happened. And he probably should have, you know. When the 8 is upright, it does also mean that if you do what you need to do, if you do what's necessary, it's kind of like your get out of jail free card. You know, you just have to overcome your fears. And I think that's what Justin is doing. You know, it's saying if he does overcome what's going on, do what he needs to do, like putting out all that evidence, he could get past whatever struggle he's going through from doing his passion project. Because, I mean, he seemed to be really passionate about it. All right, so we've got the Knight of Cups in reverse coming up next. And with the Knight of Cups in reverse, they represent insecurity, indecisiveness, kind of like a lack of commitment, especially like in a relationship. Sometimes promises are broken or decisions are made that aren't really based out of reality type of situations. And if it's, normally if it's about a person or a specific person, they're kind of like an intense person, but their intentions are normally good, which is definitely giving Justin Baldoni. When it comes to work, dishonesty, deception, either on your part or an employer's part or a colleague's part. Like a project may not go well, or you're considering changing jobs. And I think for Justin, when it comes to this coming up with him and Blake working on a project together, it's pretty much laying it out there. Like, they both had these good intentions for this project, but him and Blake had two different like ideas of what was going to happen. Blake was ready for this to be her big thing to celebrate, and he was thinking completely different. This is going to be my big thing to celebrate, but here comes Blake coming in trying to be the director, coming in trying to do costumes, coming in trying to be the intimacy coordinator. I mean, all of this is like, everybody had good intentions, but it just wasn't going to go well. It just was not going to go well. When you think about it, when it comes to like love or a relationship, it can indicate secrets and lies in a relationship. Somebody not being open, you know, there's conflict about feelings, commitment issues, living in a fantasy world, you know, and it suggests like get real and stop dreaming. And my alarm keeps going off, and I keep stopping it. But yeah, I think they were just, like I said, in their own little fantasy world, thinking this was gonna work out, and it just didn't. It just didn't. They thought it was gonna work out, and it didn't. Like I said, they had good intentions from the start, but each of them had their own separate intentions, and it conflicted with each other completely. Like, he should have been more aware of what was going on in his situation, and Blake was just very unaware that this is somebody else's movie, that she's sharing it with someone. Then with Justin, we got the Page of Cups. The Page of Coins. And it's upright. And the Page of Coins is, I guess when it comes to something like this, you would think like more finance. But someone who likes to perform a service, you know, a bit naive, but still wants to use their money, like not naive about their finances, but wants to use their money to kind of perform services for people. It would be somebody that you would think is like, you know, someone who, how could I put this? Especially when it comes to Justin Baldoni. Kind of like how he considers himself a feminist, and, you know, like he had, like I said again, he had good intentions. And I think with this coming out and him being kind of more naive about his finances and naive about this project of his, him thinking, oh, I'm the director, I'm good, and Blake being like, wait a minute now, this is gonna be a big shot for me too. And he was just really naive, and I think somewhere in the middle he started to look past things that he knew wasn't right. You know, he was still being very naive in the middle. Like Blake was already on it. Like Blake is already like on it. I don't like this. I'm taking over. I want to shine. You know, I'm gonna invest my money into it. And then he's like, well, I've already invested money into it, but all right, come along, sure. You know, kind of like, again, just naive. When you're thinking about a job, it's like, normally it'd be a person who, again, is like, wants to do service for people, like healthcare, you know. Someone who doesn't mind giving up their profits to help other people. Someone who might, you know, work hard. So it's definitely giving me more Justin Baldoni. Like Blake's in the middle and Justin's are completely different. Like they both, I feel like, had completely different thought processes about how this movie was gonna go. Justin really was like, I don't mind putting my money into this even if it doesn't work out. That's why by the end of it, until Blake put out this lawsuit, Justin was still going along with everything. Even though he has invested time, years, and money into this, he's still going along with it because at the end of the day, it was a passion project and he likes to share. He likes to help. So he's still going along with it, even though things are starting to get a little sour. By the time we get down to here, the celebration of it all, the finishing of the movie, when you have that pinnacle in reverse, now Justin is starting to see his mistakes. Because when you get that card, it's showing now you're overly concerned about money and your possessions, which is this movie, the fact that he purchased the rights to both of Colleen Hoover's books, it's messing with his money. Now, this lawsuit is messing with his money. Now he's getting tight. You know, now he's like, okay, I'm attached to my goods, you know. When it comes to a job, you feel stuck in a rut. Perhaps the job didn't pay off as far as you thought. He's starting to realize that he could lose out. Like, he had good intentions when he started this. And now he's realizing he's going to lose money really bad. Worse than he thought, you know. Oh, just, yeah, sure, take it. No, he's going to lose that Bitcoin. And I think he's starting to realize that. If you think about that in a relationship, would be a relationship based off of kind of money and security rather than love. And, you know, again, if you were thinking about them in a relationship, it wouldn't even be based off of love. Even though, like I said, they probably were kind of cool in the beginning. I feel like they probably were cool with each other, you know, just letting stuff roll off their backs. But now it's kind of like, I feel like when he went to that red carpet and Blake had the whole cast and crew doing something completely different, Blake is saying all this stuff on the red carpet, I think you could tell by the way he was talking. Things were really starting to hit him. I think he started to realize, like, this could be a problem. I can lose money. Like, Ryan is not supposed to be writing for this movie. That's when he found out that Ryan wrote the rooftop scene at the event that they were having. You know, I think he was starting to realize, like, whoa, I could get sued. I could owe Ryan money. I think it was really starting to hit him by the end of this. By the time they were done with this movie, it was starting to hit him, just like it was starting to hit Blake. Like, Blake is ready to go, she's ready to fight, and Justin is like, I'm not ready to lose money. All right, last on his row, we have the Page of Cups, and it is in reverse. And when the Page of Cups is in reverse, it's like something has painful results, unhappiness in a relationship, or in a certain situation. You may feel insecure, afraid to trust, which I can guarantee you after this situation, this man is scared to trust anybody. Oh my God. Also means you're trying to avoid suffering. You could maybe feel fear, feeling rejected by someone. I think maybe he does fear feeling rejected by different companies, different businesses. Like, I feel like his passion is what he's doing. And now he's scared, like, if he wants to advocate for women or anything, he's going to be rejected. They gave him back his award, or they took back his award for fighting for women. I feel like now he's starting to see how much of a problem this really has become, and doesn't know who he can trust. He thought he could trust certain people that he didn't know he could. All those actors just went to the power side, you know? Kind of left him out to dry. And I feel like that's what he's seeing with this Judgment card in there, is that, wow, people really are willing to just drop me like that, you know? I think that's what he's really starting to see. When you think about that card when it comes to a job, disappointment, broken promises. A lot of disappointment and broken promises in this reading, which sounds about right. Things didn't turn out the way you hoped they would. I can guarantee you this man did not think any of this would turn out that way. Mistrusts, or you place trust somewhere that you probably shouldn't have. Betrayal in the work area. You know, Blake is emotional, being manipulative, and he doesn't know who he can trust at all. Like, the judgment they are both receiving have them feeling two different ways. And I feel like Blake is emotional and worried and a bit jealous, insecure, manipulative, and Justin is freaking out because everything that he's worked so hard for in life is gone because of a few people he trusted. Then last, we have the back of the deck, Danny, the Two of Spears. And when it comes to the Two of Spears in the reverse position, that can mean like a delay, something is difficult, you may have to make some changes. Perhaps someone you relied on or believed in has disappointed you, which is his entire reading is him not seeing what he should have been doing, him still going along with it even after things started to not work out. And now he's feeling the pain. Now he's really feeling it. He put his trust in not only Blake, but probably other individuals. And he's gonna have to learn from that mistake. When in reverse when we think about work, that could mean that you may have to work harder than you expected to bring your dreams into kind of like reality, you know. maybe you got off track, you need to control a situation, maybe colleagues or other people that you work with are not holding up their end of the bargain, which is always, I mean, you can't make this up. Like, that's crazy, because that's exactly what he's going through right now. And it's all because of the Khaleesi. So that was part 1. I'll be posting part 2 soon. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Like, comment, and subscribe.